Play ball.
Jake, was that good enough?
Very good.
Would you say it wasn't to make him redo it if it was really bad?
No.
No? All right.
Stay right there, Jake.
Welcome back to the Slide Podcast, everyone. I'm Coach Aaron, and tonight I am joined with Banana Jake. And Jake, this is a special episode, man.
Very special.
It is. It is. How you been doing? Have you been stressing about it a little bit?
A little bit. Coming up
Yeah.
with questions today
There you
and
go.
the whole week, basically.
Yeah. Well, we got back from ABCA before we get into the guests because we'll get. I always think that it's a surprise, but they already know. They've already seen the title of the episode, probably, or read about it. Anyway, what's been going on with you for the last few weeks, man? You got back from ABCA, you got rested up.
Yep.
Things good and ready to go.
Yeah. Just a lot of training off season and getting mentally prepared for the upcoming season.
Yeah. When's the season start for you?
February 22nd.
Oh, it's coming. You got a little over a month left.
Exactly a month. Yep.
Where is that tournament at?
Clearwater.
Oh,
Clearwater.
gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, you know what? I've been running around trying to sell out this banana ball tournament, and I am very sad that you're not joining us, dude. Like, I know you're going to Cooperstown, but man, you can go to Cooperstown. Well, actually, you can't. You're aging out, so never mind.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, though. You could come play banana ball with us. You know all the players, but it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
But it's been fun, man. We're having a lot of people from all over the country sign up, and yeah, maybe when you get back, you can come hang out or something. I mean, I feel bad that we're leaving you out. I mean, you are Banana Jake, so. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm not getting a lot of talkative I'm not getting you talkative here, so let's just get to the guest, Jake. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Well, before we do that, so we ask all of our field reporters, who would you love to interview? And Jake's request, his bucket list guest, is the gentleman waiting to be introduced right now. Jake, I'll let you take it over.
All right, so today we have a 12-year MLB veteran, two-time World Series champion. He participated in the Home Run Derby X, and he has also made appearances for the Savannah Bananas. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is Johnny Gomes.
How are you doing?
I am all good. Happy to be on board with you guys. It's a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, I should have added some applause music there, Jake. Man,
I got you.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Johnny, man, I want to thank you so much because I know you got actually a life outside of the baseball world, and so
Sure.
you away from it. So I thank you very much for that. So here's how we start every show with our guest. It's kind of funny with him, Jake. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Johnny, and you can summarize it however you'd like. But at the end of that, we ask every guest, what's your favorite cereal? So we need to know that to begin with.
Okay. Well, let's see. Where do we start? I guess we start from the roots. I grew up in Northern California, like the wine country, Sonoma County, Napa Valley. I went to Casa Grande High School there, and then graduated, of course, and then went to a junior college. Went to a junior college right up the road. And yes, you can make it to the big leagues out of a junior college. I'm proof in the pudding right there. It's a good thing. So 2 years of junior college. Ended up getting drafted by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. They were the Devil Rays back in 2001 in the 18th round. And believe it or not, didn't have many options outside of that. After my second year of junior college, I thought my playing days were over because I didn't have a college scholarship anywhere. Right. Ended up getting asked to go to a tryout for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. All moons aligned, had a great tryout. Ended up getting drafted in the 18th round. I look down and I look up in September of 2003, and I'm in the batter's box at Yankee Stadium making my debut. So it was a pretty fast roller coaster of a ride from graduating junior college in 2001 to making my debut in 2003. So that was a whirlwind. A little bit of up and down in 2000 and 2005. Stuck in the big leagues. and then history from there.
I think that's a pretty good summary there to begin with, Jake. I mean,
Yeah.
not too many of our guests, their story ends in the big leagues, so that's pretty good. All right, Johnny, what's your favorite cereal?
Gosh, my favorite cereal, I'm probably going to have to go old fashioned with Captain Crunch.
Hey, I
I'm
like
a Captain Crunch. I'm not a big fruity, sugary.
that.
I can get down with a little bit of those cereals that have the chocolate milk at the end, like the
There you
cocoa
go.
deal.
Yep.
Um, but I just like, and the Captain Crunch, I got to eat it fast. I like it crunchy. I don't like it when it starts to get soggy. So I go smaller bowls, but a lot of portions after that. And
There
then
you go.
whole milk too, really
Gotta have it.
important. Yeah.
That is.
Yep.
Wow, that was a good explanation of cereal. That was
Yep.
Yeah.
probably one of our best there, I believe. So,
Yeah.
well, Jake, man, I'm gonna let you start it off a little bit and let you kind of guide this thing.
All right. So, since Red Sox is my favorite team, we're gonna start off talking about the Red Sox. So, in 2013, the Red Sox were picked to finish pretty low in the division by
Yeah.
most experts. Guys, people considered you guys lucky, but we all know you guys ended up winning the World Series. What do you think contributed to that?
Yeah, man. I don't think that blueprint would ever get like copied as far as there was a lot of free agents that came. So that was 2013. So you go back to 2012 and there was that big trade. There was a lot of, a lot of those guys went over to the Dodgers. So they kind of cleaned house. They wanted to revamp the culture. They wanted to get a lot of veterans and let their younger guys, grow a little bit in the minor leagues. I think it was just kind of like a stepping stone what 2013 was supposed to be. But what it really turned into be was this big group of veterans that were starving for a World Series, or a couple of these veterans that were willing to get another one. So we go get like a Shane Victorino, which was a huge move. And one of the biggest moves I thought, so we had a center fielder in Jacoby Ellsbury, and we get Victorino to play right field. And right field at Fenway Park is probably the toughest right field to play. So it was a real sneaky move, and they've done a good job of that, of getting a real good center fielder and putting him in right field. And then we got like a John Lackey who's coming off an injury, a big signing with Mike Napoli, a big one with David Ross, with Stephen Drew, just a lot of veterans that either have been to the World Series or starving to get back to the World Series. So I went in 2008 with Tampa, went to the playoffs in 2010, went to the playoffs in 2013. So had a little piece of the pie, but we're hungry for that. And I remember looking around my first day of spring training. I was like, I'm in left field. I got Jacoby Ellsbury to my left. I got Shane Victorino over there. I got Mike Napoli at first. I got Dustin Pedroia at second. I got Stephen Drew at short. I got John Lester on the mound with David Ross catching. Who thinks we're bad? Like, this is an unbelievable team. Yeah, not picked out of spring training to win a lot of games. And then, oh, yeah, we had David Ortiz as a DH. That didn't hurt either.
Yep, the best
So,
hitter.
yeah. But yeah, man, we had our sights set on that right out of Jump Street. And you can't listen to that noise on the outside. If those beat writers were right all the time, they'd be making a lot of money. But they're just throwing stuff against the wall, seeing what sticks. And we finished the season with a W.
Yep, major season.
That's like the
Yeah.
ultimate victory over the critics. Like, this is what you have to say about us. Here's what we got to show you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, like I watch it, you see it in MLB, NFL, all these experts pick all of these different things, and then after week one, everything changes.
Everything
Or,
changes.
I mean, first month at MLB, everybody's reassessing things. So
Yep.
it's people get paid to give their opinion, Jake.
Yeah.
Those people.
I'll bet on Red Sox every season.
There you go.
Well, hey, let me ask you a question, Johnny. So I've heard you and I have actually spoke briefly about just the youth sports today, and so I loved your take on your plan for your kids and your boys. But what's your opinion of youth sports today and the constant just playing 130, 140 games a year?
Yeah, man, it's tough. It really is. I mean, I'm an advocate for it. I know so many other people advocate of, playing the multiple sports, and they make it so tough these days, right? They just make it so tough. And that's what I don't like is playing not unable to play the multiple sports. I tell guys now, I go, listen, if you are going to go all in on a sport, especially baseball, like you have to have a hobby. You have to have an outlet. And I loved baseball. I love baseball from day one, but there has to be some sort of outlet. There has to be something you enjoy, whether it's fishing, whether it's hunting, whether it's riding your bike, whether it's the trampoline, something that you feel you can also excel at and something that you also want to get better at, I think is really important. There's a big downfall of guys leaving the game, and I think it's just because they're burnt out. But when you're in the fight and you're having so much fun and you're going to Cooperstown and then you're going to, the Slump Buster in Omaha and you're just surrounded by baseball, you think you'll never get burned out. Yep. So it's just go, go, go. So that's why I say just have a hobby, again, play another sport. But it is a tough time. It really is. And it's really hard. It's good that there's more baseball, right? But the more baseball there are, the more good coaches, and again, the more bad coaches, right? So you got to really be, self-aware. How much of a bummer would it be to lose your 12 to 14 years because you didn't like the coach? It's really hard. But I tell you what, like baseball teaches you so many life lessons. It's a results-driven industry built on failure, right? So we get a lot of failure.
Like life.
Yeah,
like life.
It gets you ready for life, buddy. But yeah, it's a tough time in baseball, but the good times are great. It really is. I think the pros outweigh the cons, but there is some homework that has to be done. And then again, like there's a huge difference between amateur athlete and professional athlete, and you still are an amateur athlete, which means you can have fun, you can enjoy the moment, and just be patient, trust the process, and just have fun while you're doing it.
Jake, you got a hobby?
Out of baseball?
Yeah.
A lot of kids don't. I tell you what, buddy, a lot of kids don't. But I mean, it's never too late, right? I mean, it's just like riding your bike, right? How far can you ride your bike? And there's a lot of hobbies that can take your baseball game to the next level, right? One of the things that is lost and was big when I was a kid, and it's kind of like, oh, you do what? But it was like rollerblading, right? Yep. Rollerblading is phenomenal for your legs. It's phenomenal for your balance. And I mean, you just get some rollerblades and just cruise around, right? I think it's great. Whatever it is, yeah, just having a hobby.
Jake, I want to see you on some rollerblades, dude.
That's right. We're getting you some rollerblades, buddy.
We'll get you some custom painted,
Yeah.
Yeah. And make sure your mom's got the camera on when you start. So.
That's right.
I mean, I'm kind of good at ice skating.
Boom. You got it.
Yeah, you got it there. I feel an injury if I think about me doing that. So
yeah.
All right, Jake, let you run, dude.
So in June, I think I saw you play for the Bananas in Fenway Park. Explain to us what that experience was like.
It was definitely a different game than the Fenway Park that I played in, right? As Banana Ball is. But I tell you what, like I'm a traditionist in our game. I love the history of our game, that being MLB baseball. It's America's pastime. And I think the people that are against Banana Ball are kind of getting weeded out. I do. I mean, this is like, it's the biggest thing going. It like really is. I'm so proud of what Jesse's done and what, Gillum, the head coach, has done. And what I love about Banana Ball is all the players that are involved in Banana Ball would not be playing baseball if it wasn't for Banana Ball. So it's giving these guys the opportunity to continue to wear a jersey. And I know there's kids your guys' age, Jake, that would, I mean, it's a goal to play for the Bananas. And I think that's super cool. And it's not so much of a fallback from the big leagues, but it's all about playing the game you love, whether it's the Bananas, whether it's in the big leagues or whatever. And then there's kids in the big leagues that have probably played in the big leagues for a long time that haven't played in front of a sold out crowd, if you think about it. These guys haven't not played in front of a sold out crowd in probably like 4 years. It's a really cool platform. I love what they're doing, and it's a really hard platform to do what they're doing. When I tell people when the ball is in play, it's like really good baseball. These guys, they can do all their TikTok tricks, but they're actually really good baseball players too. So it was cool. And, baseball in the big leagues, to start with, like, is a job. It's a job, and it's stressful. There's a lot on the line. So on my end, it was just a great opportunity to kind of take the guard down and just really have fun playing baseball.
What do you think stops? I've seen a little bit more celebrating this past MLB season. I saw the home run capes and some creativity starting to show.
Yep.
What do you think prevents most players from really just showing the kids today that they're having a good time?
I think that's still just, the older guys, right? I mean, when I first came up, I mean, it was head down, out of like respect, right? That's all ours was out of respect. Yeah. But I think it's kind of this line now that it's not disrespect for doing a celebration. It's just like, it's just like a fire hydrant of emotion. You're just so excited. You're not disrespecting the pitcher. You can mix them in there now. You can, there's a different celebration too, where you're kind of giving it right back to the pitcher. But you
had never done that before, have you?
Nah. I'm a head down guy.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but I think it's good. It's good for the game, and if you're going to be planning for your next celebration, you might as well get in the batting cage as well, right? So you're not going to be doing. If you want to celebrate, go ahead and iron your swing out too, and you can be doing a lot of it.
Yeah, you got to have something to celebrate first.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
Strikes.
That's right.
So,
and if you do get the 3 strikes, be ready for that pitcher to do a little cartwheel on you when you're going back to the dugout, and you can't get mad at him.
I know. I've seen some buttons pushed, but
yeah.
So I think Jake and I both have seen your content and where you're really discussing the mental side of the game as you're stepping in the box. Just a totally different take on for me specifically on just what that looks like stepping into the box. Maybe tell our audience just a little bit about what that is and how did you develop that?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot. I think we're just really hung up right now with like the swing and the swing mechanics. I'd truly say, like, I don't know the numbers, but probably like 85% of the time you get out, it's because you either swung at a ball, you took a strike, or you were late, right? You think about that. Like, no one's ever got out and they're like, oh, I was just so on time, right? Like, you were late, or, like I swung at a ball, or I took strike 3. It's not always the swing, right? You watch a major league ball game and you're going to have 18 hitters, 9 on each side. And there's going to be 18 different batting stances, 18 different swings, 2 hands on, top hand release, high hands, low hands, spread out, open stance. I'm a believer in there's not really a right way to hit, but there's a bunch of wrong ways to hit. But at the same time, like, we can like mic up these hitters now, right? Sometimes like in the All-Star game. And when you're micing up a hitter, what tells me is like, it's so easy, right? We make the game like so hard. Like, these guys are literally just talking as they're going through their motions in the big leagues. So just like simplifying things, having a plan, they're so dialed in on their plan going into the box of what they're going to do. And then you have to be willing to tip your hat if it doesn't go your way. And it's able to, make the offers or make the getting out that much easier when it's like, what happened? You're like, oh, my plan just didn't work out that time. Well, I was sitting on a pitch on the outer half and he threw it on the inner half. Perfect. Let's go get him next time. But yeah, I just think going into the at bat with a plan, and the easiest plan I have is just pay attention to the situation. What's the situation ask for? Like, no one on, no one out. Try and hit a double. Try and hit a homer. Like, go for it. That's not a wrong way. Runner on third, less than 2 outs, infield back. Just try and get that guy in. Having a plan going to the box, which starts in the on-deck circle, I think is pretty important.
Yeah, I've heard you talk a lot about understanding what your pitcher's got going on that day. So,
Yeah.
watching his tendencies, how's his fastball look, what's his off speed look like,
Yep.
just those different factors. I watch so many kids that are so distracted until they get to the box, and
Yeah.
at that point, they've already missed all their homework that was due. And like now, that's where I feel like what you were saying. That's where the late swings come in,
Mm-hmm.
swinging at the ball, just not being prepared.
Yeah, I like to get, like you don't have to be like tractor beam like locked in when you're on the bench, especially when your team's hitting. But like the answers to the test are happening like before you get to the box, right? Like you'll be able to see these sequences, and that's the chess match, is to be able to crack that code of what happened. It's like pay attention long enough and you'll realize like every 1-1 count this guy throws a certain pitch, right? You're starting to figure out what happens, and the only way you can figure that out is by watching the game.
That's right.
That's what my dad says. Your at bat doesn't start when you're on deck. It starts when the first pitch of the game happens.
That's right.
Oh.
Yep. And then I mean you'll see like, if the hitter in front of you strikes out like on a curveball, that pitcher's probably feeling pretty good about his curveball. And chances are you're going to see a lot of those curveballs, right? Or if if he throws an elevated fastball, he's feeling real good about his fastball. So you're going to have to expect that. But paying attention to the at bat in front of you and in front of you, is the answers to the test when you get in that batter's box.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. Jake, I'm gonna let you go, bud.
All right, hold up. I kind of forgot the order of this. So I don't know if many people know, but you were the first player to catch a ball in front of the green monster, play a ball off of the wall, and catch a ball on top of the monster. What was the hardest part about playing in left field in Fenway?
I mean, we're talking 100+ years of Fenway Park too. So to be the only one to do that, right?
Yep, it's
I
crazy.
am hanging my hat on that one.
That's right.
But I think I'll talk about that. Like, I'm a huge baseball fan. I mean, I was so fortunate to play it. But I mean, post playing, like I go to games, I take my son to games. I love baseball. So whenever I go back to Boston, whether it's broadcasting or signing or doing this or that, I always ask for Green Monster tickets. And I sit there. So yeah, I was sitting up there, and Trevor Story the night before hit 3 home runs when I was on the Green Monster as well, and all 3 went over my head. And then the following day, I think it was about the 4th or 5th inning, he hit a grand slam right in my lap, and that was, man, I brought me back to when I was like 10 years old. I was so pumped. I mean, I've held thousands of big league baseballs, but catching, a homer was pretty cool. But yeah, so playing in front of it, yeah, it's a green monster. It is a monster. It's something that you can only practice there. It's probably one of the biggest home field advantages in the game. But there is a science. There's definitely a science behind it. And depending on where you play, how hard the ball bounces off the green monster. So behind the green monster, there's a lot of cement pillars that hold up. I did it with Coach Rack. I talked to
Yep,
Coach
I saw
Rack
that
about it.
video earlier.
Yeah. So you got to know where these pillars are. And the only way to know where those pillars are is you just take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of balls, during batting practice and figure it out. And you kind of have that green monster mapped out. But yeah, that thing will eat you up. It really will. And it eats up the opponent all the time. But I did enjoy playing in front of it.
Yeah,
What was
it'd be
your
cool.
what was your
Yeah.
favorite stadium you got the chance to play in?
Yeah, so I mean, there's only 30 in the world, right? So they're all awesome. But playing, believe it or not, which is an absolute dumpster fire of the stadium, was Oakland, the Oakland Coliseum. And the only reason I say that is because I grew up an Oakland A's fan, right? I was a diehard Oakland A's fan. The 89, World Series against the Giants, they lost in 90. Ricky Henderson, Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, the whites, the green, and the yellow. So going home, right, was really cool. But as far as everyone else, I mean, Fenway's a national monument, right? So to be able to play ball in a national monument. Wrigley's really cool. I think the newest park that I love probably is San Francisco with the big glove in left field and the water in right. So playing them in front of my home, family and all that, Oakland, even though it was a dumpster fire, but Fenway's awesome, Wrigley's awesome, San Fran. They all have their own little quirks, which is pretty cool.
I grew up an A's fan, and so I was sitting in front of the TV when the earthquake happened in
Yeah.
'89, and I remember. I mean, obviously, we didn't have any social media, Jake. So, like, your TV just goes snowy and then out. And
Yep.
you're like, I'm yelling at my parents, like, what's going on? Figure this out. When in reality, we found out later that there was an earthquake that happened.
Yeah.
Um,
I was there, not at the game, but I was right up the road. That's where I was born and raised. So yeah, our house was rocking and rolling, stuff's falling off the shelves and everything.
That's scary.
I was a big Canseco fan, so the
Yep.
Bash Brothers and
I was a big Ricky Henderson guy.
dude, he was
he was the man.
CA was,
Yeah,
and he's got records that I think are built to last.
yeah.
I don't think anybody will ever touch his stolen base record.
No chance.
Go ahead, Jake. I think I cut you off on one of those.
All right, this may be a tough question, or it may be very obvious. What World Series? I mean, what team did you enjoy winning the World Series with the most? The A's or the Red Sox?
The Red Sox are the Royals.
Oh, the Royals. That's right.
Yeah. We were just talking about the A's. Yeah, so Red Sox 2015 Red Sox 13, Royals 15. So I get to ask that question, and I start with, like, if you don't believe in baseball gods, you better believe in baseball gods. So if you want to compare champions, the baseball gods will throw a lightning bolt at you. You can't compare. But I'll tell you, which is really unique is about those teams, and which I really didn't realize, is like breaking those teams down and like, what if they played each other, right? Like, or who was better or all this stuff. And what I realized was, which is interesting, is like championship clubs, like you would think they'd all be similar. Like championship clubs are all different. Who are similar are last place teams. Last place teams are all identical. Right? If you think about it, last place teams are all similar. Championship teams are all different, right? They really are. Like the Red Sox, our offense was like walk, 3-run homer, walk, 3-run homer. A real patient trying to get that starting pitcher out. The Royals was just like swing away, like single, 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 single. I mean, I saw that lineup flip over more than ever. Such a different dynamic at the plate. With that being said, man, finishing a Major League Baseball season with a win is pretty cool. So they're tied for first.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good answer, Jake.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be hard to pick one. I mean,
yeah.
We're not that special yet. He ain't gonna expose something like that right now.
Yeah.
Well, look. All right. So I was reading this earlier. Dude, you had a heart attack in 2002 and you didn't go to the hospital?
Yeah, not probably ideal. I wouldn't coach that.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, I was just a fresh 22 years old. I mean, that's the last thing that you have on your bingo card at 22. So I just thought it was like heartburn or some indigestion or something. But luckily I went. Christmas Eve, 2022 or 2021, one of those. Yeah, man, it was just a total fluke deal. I was in outstanding health, no family riffraff, no nothing, man. It was just a little fluke deal, and got a little hairy there for a minute, but was able to bounce back from it, and really puts life into a different perspective when you go through something like that.
I can imagine. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Jake, look, I came out of left field with that random question, Jake. So pull it
out of your whole career, and you can be honest, who was your favorite teammate?
Well, that's a hard one.
Yeah, that's a hard. So for one, fortunate to have a bunch, fortunate and unfortunate at times to like bounce around, right? So I played for a lot of teams. Right. So you play for one team, you got to carry over the same teammates. But I mean, I was all over the place. So I had a bunch of teammates. I like to hang my hat on. I if the question was the other way of like, who did you like hate playing with? Like I couldn't name that guy. I played with, yeah. Oh, yeah. I couldn't name that guy. I was just happy to be in the big leagues, and happy-go-lucky and big team chemistry guy, all that. But I played with some really good guys. I mean, the names that like pop in my head all the time, it just seems to be that 2013 Red Sox team. Just because like we molded so much, we all had so much in common. Even on the pitching side, it's hard to mold with the pitchers. It is. But like a John Lester, a Jake Peavy, a John Lackey, and then the offensive side, like how could you not like David Ortiz, Mike Napoli, and Dustin Pedroia? And that's not to single anyone out, but I had a lot of really good teammates. I mean, a Joey Votto who won an MVP, a Josh Donaldson who won an MVP. My time in Washington, with Ryan Zimmerman and Jason Worth, Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman and I were on a bobblehead together in Atlanta. So yeah, man, I got some good buddies and some great teammates. A lot of them. I couldn't give you one.
Well, I mean, with looking at, the teams, and when you changed, like you had to be a clubhouse dude. You had to love the game. And there's no doubt. I mean, you see some guys that, hop from team to team and then they just slowly fade away, but you just kept coming back. So that meant the clubs wanted you to be a part of their locker room.
Yeah, it was tough, I mean, I hang my hat on, all those playoffs that I was able to go to. I'm fortunate, so I mean, hung a banner in Tampa, hung a banner in Cincinnati, Oakland twice, Kansas City, and Boston. I also played winter ball too as well down in Mexico, which was a great experience. Also played in Japan, which was another great experience. So yeah, man, baseball has been great to me. A lot of friends, was able to travel the globe all because of the game of baseball.
I've heard baseball in Japan is completely different than it is over here. Like
it's wild to talk about it and to be a part of it, because it's like it's the same rules. It's not like baseball in Japan with these like different rules. It's the same rules. It's the same game, but wow, just how they play it and their strategy, it's way different.
Yeah, I think I ran into Jake. We were talking to one of the guys. I can't remember the name of the company. They do custom gloves and stuff, and he was just a pitcher over in Japan, I believe it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's you all have always seen, those games on TV, and just it's the crowd, the intensity.
Yeah.
The players are so fundamentally sound.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see how big it is this year. So they're opening up. So the Dodgers and the Cubs are opening up over there, and you'll see it is gonna be wild.
Wow, like a 3 or 4 game series.
Yep.
That's cool.
Ohtani going back there, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, that's going to be like the Beatles or something.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
Oh yeah.
And with who they just signed, the new pitcher.
Yeah, they got 3 Japanese-born guys over there in the Dodgers. They're getting all the all-stars.
Yep.
Jake, you might face Chinese. Well, are you going to try to go to the Little League World Series? Are you going to enter and play on a team?
I don't know.
No?
I mean, I don't really play Little League, so
yeah,
no.
I know, but you always hear these travel ball kids coming back and getting to go to Little League World Series. I'm glad you're not, though. At least it stays pure for you. But it's Chinese Taipei teams.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams over there. It is. Yeah, it's like the WBC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, when you think about your playing career, like what started you to like baseball when you were young? Like what attracted you to the game?
So I tell you, it's kind of flipped on my head a little bit, because I was like all in on football. I was all in. I started Pop Warner tackle football in 2nd grade, and I was smashing kids. In 3rd grade, I was smashing kids, and I was the running back and the linebacker and the star of the team. And I got to about 7th grade, and I played baseball too. And then it seemed like I kind of peaked early, and I was smashing guys, and then everyone kind of caught up to me, and then I got passed up, and then I was getting smashed, and I was like, oh boy. So it really wasn't till about sophomore year in high school that I really picked baseball. I thought I was all in on football, and that's why I talk about too, like, I don't know how that would have worked out in today's era, because I would have been all in on football and would be trying to make the switch my sophomore year in high school, and it would have been a little too late. So lucky I was still able to play baseball and football, and we didn't have like this individual sport deal. But I'll tell you what I loved is, we're just kind of like the low income family, chilling. And what I loved is once you're in between the lines, like, doesn't matter what your parents drive. It doesn't matter how big of a house you live in. It's like we are all equal right here. Your whole team has the same uniform on. They have the same uniform. You have no idea who comes from this, who comes from that. And just what stands out is just talent. So that's really what I enjoyed about baseball, was just kind of being on the same level as everyone else.
Yeah, I remember those days myself and feeling, just that camaraderie and the togetherness of being a part of the team.
Yeah.
Jake?
Yeah, what I love too about like baseball is what I knew is like baseball's hard, man. It's like so hard, right? And I knew that from a young age, and I was always up for the challenge, right? Like football was a little bit different, just tackle the guy with the ball, and the bigger, faster, stronger guy will win 100% in football. Not so much in baseball, right? Size doesn't matter. And I just love the challenge of how hard baseball was.
Yeah, I get it. Jake, is baseball hard for you?
Depends.
It seems to be pretty easy for you. You haven't hit much competition yet, I believe. Every time I talk to you, you win in every game like 20-6 or something.
I mean, those are like the easy games.
Yeah.
Until we play like the #1 team in the country and then get run ruled.
Yeah.
It's a hard game, buddy.
Humble lessons. All right, dude. What questions you got left? Now, Johnny, if you're okay with it, his dad is probably sitting over to his right.
Yeah.
Are you okay if Dad slides in just for a second to say
all
howdy?
good? All good.
All right, tell him to come on over. Can he hear us?
Howdy. Sorry.
How we doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
That's all. Hey, thank you very much for taking your time out to do this with the kid. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it, man. Talking the game. All good.
They explained to you why you're like on my top 5 list?
We didn't get that far.
Nah. So I like gamers. I like grinders. Yeah. I'm not all about the stars are gonna be the stars. That's like you, Millar, guys like Trot Nixon. Those are my favorites.
That's
so
us.
You at 13 was awesome, dude. 13 was that's my favorite team out of all the teams that won the World Series recently.
I appreciate it, my man.
Huh?
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
That was awesome watching that. And then you also hit home. My mother passed right in 12 from cancer. So when the whole the cancer thing came up there in game 4.
Game 4.
Right before you hit the bomb.
Yeah.
That meant something to me. All that stuff because like you were like guy holding 2 signs. And like it looked like it really like hit home with you and it was different. So that's why I have a different appreciation for different kinds of players. And
that was a powerful inning, a powerful day. How all that came about.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I found out about the whole thing. So was it Brady's bunch there?
Yeah.
He's still going pretty strong, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. They got their lacrosse
thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed you at. I was you were at the Patriots Day game this year, correct?
Yeah, I'll go again this year. I try and go every year now.
Yeah, I try to go we used to go every year. When I lived back in Mass, we went every year. That was always a great trip. That's always a good time.
Yeah,
I saw you were up there, and I'm like, dang, I missed them.
It's right after Easter. I think it's Easter Sunday and then Patriots Day this year.
Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, we're probably trying to go back for his birthday again this year. Of course, it's Dodger weekend, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. But
I'll be up there that weekend too. I'm gonna run the home base thing. It's like a 5K.
Oh really?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We went up for what was your 9th birthday? Red Sox Yankees. And it was going back. Yeah, I love it up there. I just missed my favorite bar. That's the only thing.
There you go. There's a lot of good ones up there.
That's awesome. Appreciate it. You going back on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny, that just made me want to ask a question right there. All right. Yeah. So you were a Red Sox and you had to go play in Yankee Stadium. Like, what's that rivalry like inside the locker rooms?
Unfortunately, I don't want to be a dream crusher, but it's not that much until September, right? September, right? And then it really gets going. It's good right now. So, but The rivalry is really the rivalry when both teams are really good. If you think about it, they've all kind of like switched, right? The Red Sox are really good. The Yankees are in last. The Red Sox are in last. The Yankees are in first. So when they're both really hot, it's really good for baseball.
Yeah, it is. I would have to say, just looking at it from the outside in, when both teams are winning, it's just the biggest rivalry in sports. I feel like.
Yeah.
Talking about my 9th birthday, I went to Boston for a series, and it was Yankees versus the Red Sox, and it was something.
Yeah, it's a hostile environment, that's for sure.
Yep.
Was it scary, Jake?
After the game.
Yeah, getting back to the car. That always is at an away game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one Yankee fan and like the whole crowd of the Red Sox fans is bad because they start talking trash to him. And it was...
And he's not smart enough to know he's got to keep his mouth.
It's some passionate fans. Passionate fans.
You know, the cool part is we went on my birthday, like the actual day. We went to one of the games. And we were getting no hit until the bottom of the 8th. It was 5-0. And they started to come back, and they won 9-5.
Whoa, that's some late inning magic right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Johnny. Well, man, we've kept you here for a while. Jake, any final questions before we get to our last question?
Nope.
No. All right. Disappeared on us. There he is. All right. So, Jake, I'm gonna let you You want to ask last question?
Yeah.
Dude, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. All right, Johnny, this is the hardest question that we ask. Like, it stumps most people, whether they're actually the kids do better at it than the adults do. But Jake, take it away.
We can give you a scenario you've been in before. It's the bottom of the 9th, Game 7 of the World Series. What's your walk-up song?
So that's tough. So I didn't really have a like traditional walk-up song. So like I said, I played like all over. So I just kind of went what genre and what artist was hot in the local area, right? Like in Boston, I came out to Dropkick Murphys. If I would have came out to Dropkick Murphys in Oakland, no one would have any idea who that is, right?
What did you come out to in Oakland?
Oakland, I think it came out to E.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look, don't give me that weird look, Jake. 90s, dude.
Yeah.
Oakland, Too Short, E40.
Too Short and E40, yeah.
Yeah. All those dudes, man.
Those are our guys. That's where I grew up. Yeah.
That's it. I had a feeling. That's why I had to ask Oakland, because if you lived there, you knew about it. There was no doubt.
Yep. You got it.
All right. Well,
I appreciate it, guys. That was fun.
Thank you guys very much for listening. Jake, you did an amazing job, and I'll let you take it from here, dude.
Until next time, Johnny.
We'll catch you on the slide.
There you go, man. Thank you, Johnny, very much, man.
All right, guys. You all be good now.
Thanks for joining the action and sharing our love for the game. Now go practice your swing, or at least look like a pro in the mirror. Subscribe and follow the Slide Podcast and the Field Team on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all your favorite social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review, a thumbs up, and recommend us to every person you meet. Got a question? Drop it in your review. We might just answer it on the podcast. Keep grinding, dreaming big, and remember, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Till next time, we'll catch you on the slide.